Norway is a very rich country. There's virtually zero poverty there. You'll hardly ever see homeless people. If the people don't have a home, basically the government will get them in a home and help them out until they can get a job and working. So some of the poor people have it better than the people in the U.S., like the middle class people in the U.S. But in Norway, there's a huge middle class of people, and there's very few rich or poor people. They just have enormous middle class where everyone's about the same because of all the taxes that they have. In Norway, there's an enormous, especially if you're in the larger cities, there's an enormous amount of refugees from other countries, mostly African countries. I've met someone from almost every country in Africa at some point while I was there. But they just live there, and they'll help them find jobs in Norway and help them learn the language and everything like that. And you'll meet them everywhere, and they're all super nice. Daily life, public transportation is huge there. Everyone basically takes the bus. A car is so expensive there. Not very few people, but a lot of people will just rely on the public transportation. It works really well there. A lot of the people there just have normal jobs like you'd have here in the US. There aren't very many. Oil's a huge deal there. So a lot of people will work with the oil companies. Shopping in Norway, every city has a center, like a midpoint, where it's basically like you just walk the streets. They're like too narrow for cars to get in, and so you have to park on like the outsides of it. But it's like a shopping area where there's just like food stores and shopping, like clothes stores, and you just kind of walk through, and all of them are like really pretty. But everything is super expensive there. Everything will be about 5 times more expensive there than it is here, just because the cost of living is so much higher there. People are all super nice. They're all, in general, like amazing people. They are so nice. The main church there is Lutheran church. They call it the state church, but there's not a whole lot of really active people in it. Like they're all members of it, but they don't necessarily go every week or anything like that. They'll get their kids baptized when they're born and confirmed when they're 14, or I think it's 14. But not super active in that. But like every person in the country is basically born into the church, the Lutheran church there. People there are really, like I said, they're so nice. They are outgoing, helpful. Like anytime like I needed help with the language and I asked someone there, they'll immediately help me. Virtually everyone under the age of probably 60 speaks fluent English. Ask anyone and they'll be able to help. That's a great part. Culturally, they take English from their about first grade until they're done in high school, and all their TV and movies are not dubbed at all. It's all in English, and they just have subtitles. So everyone is really good at English. Etiquette tips, like the only one I can really think of right now is when you get done eating, you have to say "Takk for maten." It's thank you for the food. It's considered really rude if you don't say it, and they eat with a fork and knife for everything. You always have to have a fork and knife in your hand, and that's considered proper. So it's not like America where you just cut everything with the side of your fork. You cut it with the knife and have them both in your hands the whole time, and that's considered polite. But at the end, if you don't say "Takk for maten," you're considered pretty rude. For holidays, Christmas is a huge deal over there. Basically, until like 2 days before Christmas until New Year's, everything closes and stays closed. You just like spend time with your family and eat and open presents, and it's considered like this great time. They open like the grocery stores one day in the middle of that week, so everyone has to go and get their food for the next couple days, and you have to stock up before and then stock up in that mid-week opening. But none of the stores are open. Nothing's open. Every Sunday, actually, all year round, everything's closed. Like nothing's open on Sundays in Norway. Norwegians, because they get paid more and they get a lot more vacation time. The summer, they will go on a vacation for a month or two. Like in the middle of summer, they just go, everyone goes on these 2-month vacations in the summer, and they call it feria. They just go on vacation for months at a time. For weird things I ate, they have a dish, a traditional Christmas dish called Lutefisk. And it's like a fish that's cooked in, like, you let it sit and ferment for a while and it gets like jello-y, and then you put it in the oven. And so like when you like touch it, it like jiggles back and forth like jello, and I thought it was disgusting. I couldn't eat a whole lot of it, but they put like bacon on it and it makes it a little better, but it's super salty and just not a texture that I like. And I love fish, so it was weird that I wouldn't like that. But I don't think I think it was a traditional dish back when, because not a whole lot of Norwegians eat it today. Another weird thing, I ate whale one time, a whale steak, and reindeer. Reindeer was really good. The whale was a little weird. It was bloody. It was really bloody when they cooked it. It was kind of gross watching them cook it. They have these little kebab stands. It's like a Middle Eastern food that they have, like, it's kind of like their version of fast food, and you eat it like in a pita bread. It's not Norwegian at all, but they're just everywhere and all the Norwegians eat it. It's like a lamb in a pita, and you eat it with a fork and a bunch of vegetables in it and some sauce that I have no idea what's in the sauce, but it was good. Desserts, they have really good desserts. My favorite it's called riskrem. It's like a rice cream with they put like a strawberry sauce over it, and so it's like rice and a lot of whipped cream basically. And I thought it was my favorite. They have a lot of cakes and things there. Around Christmas, they have a lot of like specialty cakes that you eat. Christmas is a huge deal there. Drinks, they mostly, like every family you'll eat with they call it soft. It's just basically a concentrate of like something really thick, and you have it on the table, and they have water, and you just pour a little bit of the soft into the drink and then put water for the rest. And like comes in every flavor ever, but that's usually what every family drinks. It's kind of like a juice type thing. There's a lot of fish, obviously, because it's right there on the ocean. You eat a lot of fish. The best thing, my favorite dish it's called a kjøttkaker. It's like a big meatball. If you've ever been to IKEA, like they have the small like Swedish meatballs, but in Norway they eat them a lot bigger. And you have potatoes, and you eat like a berry sauce. It's called tyttebær. And you mix it all together and eat it. And that's my favorite. It's just got like onions and meat, and it's really good. But you eat a lot of fish there. Those are kind of the main traditional dishes that you'll get everywhere. But you'll have all like the American pizza and French fries and hamburgers. They eat that all over there also. Norway is one of like the top 5 safest countries in the world. It's very like, you never feel like you are going to get harmed or anything like that. Like we lived in what was considered the bad part of town, but it wasn't like, it was nice. Like it would not have been considered like a rough part over in the US. Like it was really nice. So you're safe. The only like in the winter it gets dark really early, so it gets dark sometimes like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Like the sun goes down, so you feel like it's dark and like shouldn't be safe. But I never, like, once you've been there for a little while, you're never worried about your safety. Everyone is super polite. You don't have to worry about any like getting mugged at gunpoint or anything like that, because there's no guns anywhere. The cops don't even carry around guns. For safety, it's a great place. So any mother would never have to worry about their kid over there. I never had anything, no dangerous experiences at all. Like I never even felt like I was in a dangerous situation. Weather in Norway, it's relatively cold. I was always in the south of Norway, so it didn't get like as bad as in the north. I have like negative 20, negative 30 degree weather. You bundle up and it's really not that bad. But But in the summer, it's really nice. It only gets about probably 80 degrees at the highest. It rains pretty much every day in the summer, which is nice. It'll cool down, so it never gets like way hot. It'll just rain for like 10 minutes at a time. One of the coolest things about Norway is in the summer, when you go to bed at night, it still looks like it's about 5 o'clock in the evening, and when you wake up in the morning, it looks like it's noon because the sun just kind of goes all the way around you because it's so far north. But the bad part is in the winter, it's the exact opposite, where sometimes you only get 3-4 hours of sunlight, where you at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon it's dark and you are thinking it's 9 or 10 at night. But the weather is nice. The summers are awesome there. It's so pretty and nice, and there's wild berries that grow just everywhere that are good to eat, and the water's all super clean that you can drink anywhere, so you don't have to worry about that. The berries you can just pick up right off the side of the road and eat, and they're good. They're just fine. Strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, they're just everywhere over there. I've heard of the snow being so high, like higher than the cars on the side of the roads up further north. I never got to actually see that. And in the north, the northern lights you get to see like every night up there. I never got to see them because I never started more than like a day up further north. But like they say, every night basically it's just greens and pinks and everything just moving across the sky, and you're just like walking around in it, and it's amazing. But as for extreme weather, I got caught in some rainstorms and everything like that, where I would get home from being out and I would just be completely wet. My clothes wouldn't dry for a couple days. The language in itself is, to get like the words and everything like that, it's Germanic language, so it's not super hard, but the pronunciation and to sound like you're from the area is so hard because it goes up and down, and it's a very sing-songy language, and American or my English is just flat and monotone basically, but there's like every word you have to go up and down and pronounce it in a different tone and everything like that, so it's super hard to sound like you're from there. For me at least it was, but to get like the words and like the correct grammar isn't terribly hard. Just a cool thing about the language, each town you go to will have a completely different dialect. So sometimes it'll be like learning not a completely new language, but a completely like different dialect. Like the word for I in Oslo is jeg, and the word for I in Stavanger is egg. And basically every word will end differently and pronounce differently. Like in Stavanger they're very hard on their R's. They're ach, and in Oslo they'll ar. So it's like the whole, like I had been there in Norway for a year and I was getting real confident thinking I knew the language, and then I got moved over there and I had a junior companion and he had to translate for me because at first I had no idea what was going on. Like I couldn't understand a thing for the first like week I was there, and then I started to pick it up that there was just subtle changes in the words. To say bye, you say hadde. Like you usually say like bye, have a good one, ha det bra. Bra is good. Hadde is just like have it, is what it directly translates to, but that's how they say bye. So like to say how's it going, there's a bunch of different ways, but the most common one is hvordan går det? Where's the bathroom? Hvor toaletten? Toalette, not toaletten. It's just, you never say bathroom, you say toilet. They think that's weird if you say bathroom. Bathroom's baderom.